Hello everybody, welcome back to the Premier League predictions, and it is game week 35. This has gone so quick this season, it's nearly over, but we're going to be starting off on the 27th of April. It's at the mighty London Stadium. It's West Ham United versus Liverpool, and West Ham aren't looking on the best of form in terms of results. Against Crystal Palace, they did not play well. Conceding 5 goals is crazy. I know Crystal Palace look fantastic at the moment, but you could at least put in a bit of a better shift. Yes, they scored 2 goals, but one of them was gifted to them by Dean Henderson. Liverpool also didn't look fantastic against Everton. Poor defending from the set piece for the second goal. No one was marking Calvert-Lewin, but positivity you can take from it is Trent's passing. He's the one feeding the balls over the top, giving the attackers opportunities. Núñez isn't playing fantastic. He gets so many big chances. I think there's like a stat around like 28 big chances and only 11 goals compared to Haaland's 30 missed big chances and he got like 20 goals or something like that. But Núñez he's not finishing his beans. Salah didn't quite look himself, you know. Liverpool are creating chances. There are positives, but also there are a lot of negatives, such as they cannot finish their beans. But they managed to bounce back when they lost it 3-0 against Atalanta, when they lost it 1-0 against Crystal Palace, managed to bounce back against Fulham, and in my opinion, West Ham haven't looked fantastic. They gave Crystal Palace too many opportunities by keep on losing the ball in the middle of the park, and I feel like Liverpool, they can do it. They've got enough quality in that side. They can bounce back. I'm only going to go just about. It's going to be high scoring. I'm going 3-2 to the away side, Liverpool, come the final whistle. Moving on to the next game, it's at the Molineux Stadium. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Luton Town. This one's going to be a very hard one to predict. Wolves at home under Gary O'Neill honestly completely proved me wrong. I said they were going down at the start of the season. What a mug I look for saying that. Sorry Wolverhampton Wanderers fans, because you're definitely not going down. It's statistically impossible. But Wolves, they haven't won in the last 7. It's a good chance. If Luton Town want to stay up, they have to bring 3 points in this game. But I feel like Wolves have got too much quality, especially Luton Town. 5-1 against Man City, you can let off because that's Manchester City. 5-1 again against Brentford, shocking defending. Honestly, they look like championship defenders. What's going on with Luton Town? I know they haven't been defensively fantastic, but that was worse than ever. They usually keep the results nice and tight, but the last 2 games, they have not. And we haven't seen this happen to Luton Town yet. Does that mean it's over? No. Against Wolves, they can fight. They still performed well against Bournemouth, and that was only like 1 or 2 weeks ago. So I feel like they've still got good signs. They still can score fantastic goals. And I believe in Luton Town to at least get a point. I'm going 3-all, high-scoring 6-goal thriller come the final whistle. Moving on to the next game is at Craven Cottage. It's Fulham versus Crystal Palace, a London derby. A huge London derby, really, because Crystal Palace, Fulham, I mean, is it huge? I don't know why I said that. It's not really huge because both of them have stayed up. They're both in mid-table. Nothing really much more to fight for. I don't think European football is statistically on for both of them. It's kind of the end of their season, but Crystal Palace, they're looking sensational. Oliver Glanzer, he's got exciting football. Compared to Roy Hodgson's football, he's got exciting football. I mean, look what he's done. It could be also part of now the front three's there for Crystal Palace. That could be a huge part because each time those 3 players aren't in Crystal Palace, they do perform badly. Eze, Elise and Mateta, they're all there in the last game. They've all been there for the last 3 games and they're performing. If one of them goes, it probably breaks down Crystal Palace. But overall, the defence has also performed quite well. Another goalkeeper mistake. I mean, what's going on with all these goalkeeper mistakes? Muric, Jordan Pickford, now Dean Henderson, and Onana for Manchester United as well. So many goalkeeper mistakes in recent time. But Crystal Palace, they look quality. I mean, we saw that passing football against Liverpool to score that goal. 21 passes, fantastic. It's fluent football. It's that attacking. All the passes seem to link up. Eze looks fantastic. There's nothing but a Crystal Palace win here. Sorry, Fulham, you are quality, but you're not going to stop the momentum of Crystal Palace. I'm going 2-1 to Crystal Palace come the final whistle. Moving on to the next game is at St James's Park. It's Newcastle United versus Sheffield United. And well, I'm super hyped for this game because surely it's an easy 3 points. Sheffield United, they're down. Even if they're not statistically down, I still feel like they're down. And come to St James's Park, they're not going to get anything. Nothing. It's going to be nothing but a Newcastle win. I'm honestly so confident, and I know I did say a Newcastle win against Crystal Palace and they weren't, but this time, surely it's going to be a much easier game against Sheffield United. To be honest, Chris Wilder has improved them, but it's not enough coming into this game at St James's Park as well. I'm going for a 3-0 thrashing towards Newcastle United. Come on the Toon! Moving on to the next game is at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United versus Burnley. And you know what? Coming into this game, Burnley could definitely get something. Only one loss in the last 7 games, considering Manchester United are a bit all over the place at the moment. Bruno Fernandes has to carry them to games, carried them in that Sheffield United game by scoring the penalty, getting an assist, scoring an absolute wonder goal, by the way. But it's just they always get unconvincing wins, and the football that is played isn't fantastic. You know, it's a bit scrappy at some points. Not properly convincing. Maybe it's down to Erik ten Hag and the way they play. I feel like Erik ten Hag should stay for the rest of the season because there's only 4 games left, and I feel like he is getting enough results. And I mean, if he wins the cup competition, he's probably going to stay for quite a while. But maybe it's time for a refreshment. Erik ten Hag is more than capable of being a great manager, but it's not really working out with Manchester United. But we have to see what happens in the next 4 games. But in this game in particular, I've got minimum hope that Man United can get a win here. I honestly don't think they will because Burnley are desperate. Man United are looking meh. I feel like it will be a draw though because I don't see Manchester United losing it in such a crucial game. So I'm going to go down the middle. I'm going to go 1-1 come the final whistle. Moving on to the next game, it is at Goodison Park. It's Everton versus Brentford. 2 clubs that are performing spectacular. Great defensive display. Branthwaite, honestly, he's the future of that England defence. Honestly, is the future of that England defence. Everton, I feel like they have been unlucky all season. Obviously, they did get deducted 8 points so far. And if they didn't get that, they would be in much safer position. But they still could go down, but I don't think they will. I feel like coming into this game, Brentford are also looking absolutely fantastic. They're back on form. Fantastic football. You don't need Ivan Toney because you've got the front 3 of Keane, Lewis Potter, Wissa and Mbeumo. 3 fantastic players. Now Mbeumo's back. It's really showing up that Brentford attack. Brentford look fantastic. Everton are on the bounce back. Looking good with Jordan Pickford saving them in that Liverpool game. The Merseyside derby winning at 2-0. I mean, I cannot split the sides considering both teams playing fantastic. And I'm going to go 1-1 come the final whistle. Moving on to the next game, it's at Villa Park. It's Aston Villa versus Chelsea. Chelsea, poor, terrible, sham diddly bollock indeed. Whoa. Chelsea 5-0 against Arsenal. They won at 6-0 against Everton and somehow lose at 5-0 against Arsenal. I know Arsenal are a better side than Everton, but still, you could put a bit more effort in that, especially how they played the last 9 games. They played pretty well in the last 9 games before that. Obviously being knocked out in the FA Cup. Their starting 11 seems to always rotate. I think they've got pretty much all the players they need. They've got a great structure for the future. They just need all of them to link up. And Pochettino needs to find his proper starting 11 because it's honestly all over the place. He doesn't know who he's playing in what position. They have suffered with injuries throughout the entire season, as many teams. But Chelsea, they've still got some great individual talents. Aston Villa are doing well as well. They are doing sensational. Honestly, really well. But knowing Chelsea, they always seem to get a huge defeat and still manage to then get a result afterwards. Inconsistent. I know I use that word a lot, but they are very inconsistent. And I feel like we've seen some good signs from Chelsea. Definitely better this season than last season. I'm not going to go for a Chelsea win. Would not be a surprise for an Aston Villa win. I'm going to have to go down the middle. And I'm going for a 2-all, 4-goal thriller come the final whistle. Moving on to the next game. It's actually a whole new day. It's the 28th of April. It is at the Vitality Stadium. It's AFC Bournemouth versus Brighton and Hove Albion. And well, Brighton, I can't believe I said they'll get another result against a big title racing team. I said they're winning against Arsenal. They did not. I said they would get a point against Man City, and they did not. I'm not going to go for a Brighton win, but Bournemouth, they looked a bit shaky. I mean, they lost to Luton Town. They went on a 3-game streak of not winning, but they were unlucky against Manchester United. They definitely deserved to win that game. But they won against Wolves. I felt like the red card was a bit harsh. It was a bit harsh on Kirkes. You know, obviously it was a sliding challenge and it was a foul. I would have said a yellow card at most. Red card was a bit harsh. But it is what it is at the end of the day. They still managed to get it over the line, only just about. In my opinion, it could have went either way in that game. It probably deserved to be a draw on that game. Bournemouth, they look good enough. They're mid-table. They're probably going to break their record in the Premier League in terms of how many points they're going to get. And honestly, I can't split the sides. They're both very similar, both mid-table. Brighton obviously have huge injury issues. That's probably why they're going on a big downfall. And I'm going to go for another 1-1 draw between these two sides come the final whistle. Moving on to the next game, and it's probably the biggest game of the game week. It's going to be on the thumbnail. Two London clubs facing each other. Tottenham Hotspur at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Man, that's a mouthful. Versus Arsenal. Huge one. Honestly, a huge London derby. I've been saying Arsenal are going to blip up and lose some points, lose their confidence. And you know what? They did against Wolves. They didn't look themselves, you know. They still deserved the win and they still had some great play. You know, they still look good, but they weren't themselves. They're making a few mistakes at the back. They made a few mistakes throughout the entire game. Wolves didn't capitalise, luckily. They still played well, but then they played against Chelsea, and that was a very convincing win. They won at 5-0. That was convincing. That was very good by Arsenal. But I feel like it's just Chelsea being their inconsistent selves, and they just perform badly. So I feel like Tottenham could get something. They can really rest up, refresh their mindset, change their tactics if they want to, really look up to this game, because they've had a good break. They didn't play last week. They've got a good break coming into this. And yes, they have had some two big defeats in recent time. 3-0 against Fulham, 4-0 against Newcastle United. They probably want to give it their all because it's such a big game, because it's a London derby. They're going to be up for it to prove themselves. And Ange Postecoglou's got them playing some fantastic football. Tottenham are definitely going to concede because they're not fantastic at defending set pieces. And Arsenal are great at attacking set pieces. So put the pods together. Arsenal are going to score a couple. Tottenham still got a good attack. They're going to be up for this game. And it's going to be a 2-2 draw come the final whistle. Moving on to the next game. It's at the City ground. It's Nottingham Forest versus Manchester City. And well, I thought Manchester City may be going on a downward trajectory. But with no Champions League football, the only other competition being the Cup final in the FA Cup against Manchester United, which should be pretty simple. Yeah, I feel like they've got much less distraction coming into this game. And they're facing Nottingham Forest. I know Nottingham Forest do pretty well at home. And I feel like they will give it their all. And they might even get an equaliser. And it'll be 1-1 at half-time. But Man City, they're looking unstoppable. 4-0 win against Brighton. 5-1 win against Luton Town. And knowing Luton Town always keep the results tight, that's a really good win. And honestly, I can only go for a Man City win. You know, I am going to go 3-1 come the final whistle towards Manchester City. And who is my goal of game week 34? Well, there was plenty of choices. But I am going to go a bit different. I'm not going to go for Trossard's goal, which was fantastic against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Bruno Fernandes' goal, and I'm sure there's plenty of other goals that I haven't mentioned. I'm going to go for a bit of a different one. I don't usually say a header as a goal of a certain game week, but I am going to go with Kevin De Bruyne's diving header. It was top right. It was honestly fantastic. I'm going to go a bit different there. But how did I do in game week 34? I got 6 points out of 26 points, which, you know what, considering there was 26 points up for grabs, and I only got 6 points, wasn't a fantastic week from me. That puts me on a total of 198 points out of 672 points. Poor week from me. I'm hoping to improve though. Obviously, I'm hoping to improve. And if you enjoyed this video, then why not check out this fantastic video? If you enjoyed this video, check out this beautiful video. Toodle pip!